Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Oh,
You wanted to know about raising kids.
yeah.
And we found a gold mine in Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life.
Oh, yeah.
So we dug into Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might sound a little bit provocative.
Right.
We're here to unpack Peterson's reasoning,
Yeah,
not necessarily endorse every single idea,
of course.
but, you know,
Just understand where he's coming from.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
What I think is so interesting is how Peterson uses these, like, really relatable situations
yeah.
to highlight this problem of the spoiled child.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
he starts with this scene. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen it.
Oh, yeah.
The screaming 3-year-old dragging their parents through the airport.
Oh, my God. Yes.
It'll-
Every parent, like every traveler has been there,
It's like the most relatable thing.
experienced it, or been near it.
Yeah, exactly.
But is that just an anecdote, or is there something deeper going on?
Well, that's exactly what Peterson kind of suggests.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, he's saying this is a symptom of a bigger issue.
Okay.
Kids are testing boundaries.
Yeah.
Parents are struggling to set them.
Right.
And he's saying this is surprisingly common
Yeah.
in modern parenting.
He also talks about that dinner party
Oh,
where
yeah.
those kids are just running wild.
Grabbing food off everyone's plates.
The parents are powerless.
It's funny, but it's kind of sad,
Yeah.
you know?
So does he think that, like, parents are afraid to discipline their kids?
He does suggest there's a trend
Okay.
towards avoiding discipline.
Interesting.
Parents fear being seen as the bad guy
Right.
or damaging the kid's self-esteem.
Makes sense.
But then he takes it a step further
Yeah.
with this whole idea of mothers creating god emperors,
Oh, yes.
especially with sons.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny, but, like, those examples are pretty striking.
Yeah.
Boys demanding peanut butter sandwiches while glued to video games.
Right.
Or, you know, a kid hitting his sister and being comforted instead of corrected. Like, where is he going with this God Emperor idea?
Well, this is where he connects it to evolutionary biology.
Oh, okay.
He's not condoning it,
Gotcha.
but he's trying to explain, like, the potential roots of it.
Right.
Basically, he's saying there's a deep-seated drive
Okay.
to favor sons
Yeah.
because of their higher reproductive potential.
He even brings up Genghis Khan,
Well,
having, like, millions of male descendants to make the point.
I mean, it's mind-blowing
Yeah.
when you think about it.
So is he implying that mothers are unconsciously trying to create the next Genghis Khan?
Well, I think the takeaway
Yeah.
is that even well-intentioned mothers,
Mm-hmm.
driven by biology,
Yeah.
might unknowingly contribute to these discipline problems,
Okay.
especially in sons.
So it's not about endorsing gender bias,
No, not at all.
but about recognizing these subconscious motivations.
Exactly.
Okay, so are we saying that, like, biology is destiny when it comes to parenting? Or does Peterson think kids are just inherently difficult?
That's where he challenges that concept of the noble savage.
Oh, right.
You know, this idea from Rousseau
Yeah.
that children are inherently good
Right.
and only corrupted by society.
I see.
Peterson pushes back against that view.
Interesting.
And he even uses his own struggles as a father
Yeah.
to kind of illustrate this point.
It's definitely attention-grabbing when he admits to abandoning his own children.
Oh, yeah.
But is he just being provocative? Or does he have evidence to support his view of human nature?
Well, he does bring in a range of evidence.
Okay.
He cites data on bullying,
Mhm.
even the violence observed in chimpanzees.
Oh, wow.
And he points out that hunter-gatherer societies
Yeah.
had higher murder rates
Really?
than modern ones. He even talks about Jane Goodall
Oh.
and how she hesitated to share her observations
Yeah.
of chimp violence
Why?
because it challenged the prevailing view.
Interesting. So it sounds like he's saying socialization is crucial.
I think so.
It's not about suppressing some perfect inner child,
Right.
but shaping their behavior to prepare them for the real world.
Exactly.
So then this is where he introduces this concept of discipline.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with that word.
Yeah, discipline makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
It does.
It brings up images of harshness,
Yeah.
maybe even cruelty.
Right. Like going back to the old days.
So is Peterson advocating for that kind of old-fashioned, like, authoritarian parenting?
Well, I think it's important to understand like where he's coming from.
Okay,
You know, he's not endorsing harshness,
gotcha.
but he's saying discipline is important.
Okay.
But he's also saying just saying no is meaningless
Yeah,
without consequences.
right.
It's like society's rules.
Oh, okay.
We have laws
Mm.
because people don't always do the right thing.
Right.
So it's not about like being mean.
Yeah.
It's about having structure.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
We all rely on like social structures and consequences, even unspoken ones, to navigate the world.
Yeah.
So how does Peterson suggest parents approach discipline?
Well, he talks about B.F. Skinner
Oh, yeah.
and reward-based training.
Like pigeons playing ping pong.
Exactly.
Who doesn't love that?
Right.
But then he says it's not always effective.
Yeah, he says it doesn't always work with kids.
With kids.
Why is that?
Right? Why?
Well, he's acknowledging like the power of positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
But he says negative emotions are important too.
Yeah. Okay.
For learning.
So like pain helps us avoid danger.
Right, like he links it back to evolution.
Oh, interesting.
So trying to shield kids from all negative experiences
Yeah.
could actually hinder their development.
So avoiding all punishment
Yeah.
might actually be doing kids a disservice.
He uses the example of a toddler reaching for an electrical socket.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, safety trumps everything.
Right.
He believes in a balanced approach.
So what does that balanced approach look like?
Well, he outlines some key principles,
Okay.
like minimum necessary force, limited rules,
Okay.
parents presenting a united front,
Mm-hmm.
being self-aware of your own flaws,
Okay.
and acting as a proxy for the real world.
Those are pretty broad.
They are.
Can you break them down a bit?
Sure.
Give us some examples.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
like minimum necessary force,
Okay.
you start with the gentlest approach
Mm-hmm.
and escalate if needed.
Okay.
A look of disapproval might be enough for one kid.
Right.
Another might need a verbal reprimand.
Yeah.
And in some cases, a timeout
Mm-hmm.
or even a swat on the backside
Yeah.
might be necessary.
I bet that last one's going to raise some eyebrows.
It is a sensitive topic.
Very sensitive.
Is Peterson condoning violence?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He says any physical discipline
Yeah.
should be a last resort,
Okay.
done calmly and with control.
Right. It's not about...
It's about setting a limit,
Yeah.
not venting anger.
Okay.
And he even says that the word hitting is too simplistic.
Right.
Like there's a difference between a tap to stop a kid from touching a hot stove
Right.
and a beating.
It's about context
It is.
and intention.
Totally.
So is he suggesting that like a quick physical intervention
Yeah.
can sometimes be more effective
And even kinder?
than letting a dangerous situation escalate?
That's his argument.
And then there's this idea of parents presenting a united front.
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds like a recipe for consistency
It is.
and fewer arguments.
For sure.
But what about parental resentment?
Oh, that's a big one.
Peterson seems to have some thoughts on that.
He does.
What does he say?
He's saying that constantly trying to be the nice parent
Mm-hmm.
and avoiding conflict
Yeah.
can lead to resentment,
Oh, okay.
which damages the relationship.
With the child. So
Yeah.
it can actually be harmful
He thinks so.
to avoid all conflict,
Yeah.
even if it's coming from a good place.
Right.
Interesting.
He encourages parents to be honest with themselves
Yeah.
about their limitations
Hmm.
and capacity for negativity.
So like even discussing your dislikes about your children.
He suggests that
What?
with your partner
Really?
or a trusted friend,
Interesting.
not to be judgmental,
Yeah.
but to gain awareness.
Of your triggers and blind spots.
That's right.
So it's about being a more mindful parent
I think so.
in how you discipline
Yeah,
and in how you manage your own emotions.
absolutely.
But what is Peterson's vision of a well-disciplined child?
Like, what's the end goal?
What's the point of all this?
He describes a child who's polite,
Okay.
engaging,
Hmm.
but not a pushover.
So someone who can like navigate the social world
Right.
effectively
Yeah.
and is generally well-liked.
Yeah.
But it's not about just mindless obedience. It's
Mhm.
about giving them the social skills
Right.
for a world with rules and consequences.
He sees parents as like proxies
Oh, interesting.
for the real world.
So providing a safe space
Yeah.
to learn the rules before facing the real world consequences.
That's exactly it.
It's like a dress rehearsal for life,
It is.
where they make mistakes,
Yeah.
but in a controlled environment.
That's right.
So shielding kids from all discomfort
Mhm.
is actually counterproductive.
That's his point.
He's saying teaching kids to handle adversity,
Yes.
to bounce back from setbacks, to persevere,
Yeah.
that's the best way to prepare them
For the world.
for the real world.
For sure.
He's painting a picture of a resilient kid who can handle anything.
Yeah.
But there's this tension, right?
Oh, yeah.
Between wanting your kids to be successful,
Yeah.
but also letting them be individuals.
Yeah, to make their own choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if those choices lead to mistakes.
That's the tough part. It's a tough balance, isn't it?
Yeah, you want your kids to be kind and compassionate,
Yeah.
but also like able to stand up for themselves,
Right.
you know, navigate a world that's not always fair or easy.
That's the complexity Peterson highlights.
Yeah.
He's not saying you got to create these, like, cookie-cutter kids
Right.
who just follow every rule.
Yeah.
He's saying well-socialized kids,
Mm-hmm.
the ones who understand boundaries and consequences,
Yeah.
they're more likely to be successful and happy.
It's about giving them the tools to thrive.
Yes.
Not just like career success, but in life.
In all aspects.
Yeah, it's a pretty compelling argument.
He says neglecting that responsibility
Right.
to provide structure and guidance,
Yeah.
that could be way more harmful
Okay.
than like some well-intentioned but misguided discipline.
So it's about being thoughtful,
Yes.
intentional,
And not harsh.
not authoritarian.
Right.
Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no.
It's true.
Set those limits,
Yeah.
even if it leads to a tantrum.
It's about the long game.
Exactly, the long game.
Peterson also reminds us we don't have to do this alone.
Oh, that's a good point.
Having a partner,
Yeah.
a support system,
Mm-hmm.
that's crucial.
Yeah, for navigating those challenges.
Absolutely.
And like staying sane.
When those tantrums feel never-ending,
When it feels like it'll never end.
Well,
oh my God.
we're all in this together,
We are.
figuring it out as we go.
And sometimes that means having the tough conversations,
Yes.
confronting like uncomfortable truths, and being willing to challenge our own beliefs.
About parenting.
Exactly.
Maybe by understanding those deeper motivations,
Yeah.
like you said, those evolutionary impulses,
Mhm.
the societal pressures,
Yeah.
we can approach parenting with more wisdom,
Okay.
more compassion,
Yeah.
less fear.
That's a good point. Less fear.
And Peterson leaves us with this really interesting question.
Oh, yeah. He does.
He asks, is it ever right to hit a child?
He doesn't give a definitive answer.
No. He leaves us to grapple with it.
It's a great way to end the chapter.
It is.
It really makes you think.
It forces you to confront your own biases,
Yeah.
your experiences.
Your values.
It sparks that inner dialogue.
It does.
That's at the heart of any good deep dive.
We've given you a lot to think about today.
We have
From evolution to psychology,
parenting tips.
Peterson's controversial views on discipline.
It's a lot.
So what stood out to you? What
Yeah.
resonated?
What are you going to take away from this?
Keep those questions in mind
Yeah.
as you navigate parenthood.
It's a journey.
It is.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
We'll be back soon.
We will.
With another deep dive.
Exploring new ideas.
Until then, keep learning
Keep growing.
and keep those conversations going.
Absolutely.